It's coming. And I'm gonna record it here as well. So let's see, record on, we can go to the cloud. All right, let me look. Okay, that's starting and can release your recording here. All right, we are live, we are live. All right, good afternoon, good day, everybody. Hakiami, the Success Scholar. Thank you for tuning in to a wonderful broadcast here. It's a lovely opportunity to have these wonderful conversation. Of course, Hakiami, the Success Scholar, best-selling author of Mission Unstoppable and Extraordinary Stories of Failures, Blessings, motivational speaker, author, a few other things, been in some films and do some other community type of work in the DMV, Baltimore area. And so it's a wonderful time to, really just continue to learn and grow. Had an amazing past few days, of course, relax, exercise, and healthy, holistic weekend, of course. And, and I have an amazing opportunity to introduce a millennial here today. So it's going to be a wonderful discussion. And so let me just welcome Sister Zeta Seegers of and Zaka Speaks. I'm sorry, Zaka Sakura Speaks. What are you?
Yaki Sakura Speaks.
Ziki Sakura. I'm sorry, I wrote it down, but how you spell it, right? Spell it out for people.
It's Yuki Sakura Speaks.
Okay.
Yaki Sakura Speaks.
Okay, beautiful. So, yeah, great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to interview you. I've been hearing, of course, a lot of great things. You're definitely learning a lot, and you've actually traveled, right? Correct, internationally.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's great. We can certainly discuss that. And so open with a little bit about yourself for the listening audience. So you're from the Maryland area, or you've been living here most of your life?
Yes, I've been living here most of my life in Maryland.
Okay, great. All right, so how was it just growing up in, so we are entitled in this, I'm calling it the conscious community, past, present, and future. So
right.
You are a conscious young person. You're reading things. You're educating yourself about the world, and you are really thinking outside the box, right? You're not taking traditional ideas of how the world is supposed to be,
right?
And what people tell you you're supposed to do in life, and you're discovering what's going on. You're becoming awakening, shall I say? Right. So, did anything in your life cause you to reflect on your life in terms of how you have to think a little different about the world?
One thing that really affected my life is like in school and graduating out of high school and traveling the world and seeing something different outside my norm that you don't see outside the country than only what I see in America. And it opened my mind more to interact with different, races, to see how they see about us, but also to find my own self of going through life in different cultures, even when it comes to speaking different languages. So, me connecting, open my mind more, using social media, talking to how to break down ideologies of different new ways of thinking, and made me realize things that in America that we don't hear about, even when it comes to my own race of history, especially.
Wow. Yes. So some of the places that you've been able to travel and, you can talk as well about those languages as well.
Okay, so it's Chinese and Japanese.
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
And I spoke for Chinese. I go back and forth. I spoke Chinese and Japanese for 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, when it comes to the Chinese language, I learned that if you learn these languages, you're open to get new connections, to get better jobs and better opportunities because of just speaking a language. And you
Mm-hmm.
want to travel the world to like make deals or brands or just more than just that. These type of things that you should know, because now a lot of people know about that. They always told, over here in America, especially for Black people, we're always told that you got to learn only one thing, but not for young people to like get into that type of advancement, to learn different languages, to better themselves, to know new opportunities. So everyone else has beat us while we're at that one level state for especially young people, because we're only told that we have to go one way without going outside the box, thinking somewhere new when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
a language, especially. And me learning Chinese made me realize a lot of things about my own self when it comes to different ideologies. Applying is not just to a language, but to history and how to self-define myself, of learning new things, and especially connecting with other people.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So after you graduated high school, where did you go? Like, where'd you go first?
I went to IT in University in Maryland College, doing languages, kind of getting out there more than just one area. Because when you get out of high school, it's like you want to do more things than just one like thing dealing with out of high school. You got more opportunities because when you're told to just go to college and that's
Mm-hmm.
about it. But that's all you know. But there's more than just college. You can do
Mm-hmm.
trade, you do all these type of things that's dealing with that type of network, and especially connecting with other races that know things that we don't know about.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Right.
Right. So you did like a internship, like when you went like overseas?
Yeah.
That was more of like an internship. So it wasn't like a study abroad
It
program.
was like a study abroad, and
Okay.
like it's similar to like an internship, because we were actually going to different places that we never like heard about or knew about, but also we were also connecting with other like people from around the world, like from
Mm.
friends and meeting other Black people that we don't get to see close face to face. So when we
Wow.
all moved up, it was amazing, because you're only told about, okay, let's like the news or social media. We always hear about each other on social media, how you got Black people in Asia, or Black people in France. But when you actually meet a
Mm-hmm.
place in one area in China, your mind is connected differently of how we see each other, and we learn even
Mm-hmm.
more, not just on one little thing, but connecting with to see how other Chinese people seen us, because we never like actually Chinese people never seen Black people before. They're only
Really?
told, yes, they never seen Black people before. They're only told about like over through the social media network. And I was treated like a
Mm-hmm.
celebrity over there. I was actually getting a lot of like pictures taken, and people want to know how my hair got like this. And it was just so many amazing questions that kind of like made me kind of get out of that little kind of insecurity of talking more. It kind of got me out there to connect and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting. I saw this.
Yeah.
Made me think about this clip I saw. It was there was a Black man. I believe he was in China. And so,
Right.
what are some of the languages that are spoken in China first and foremost?
Chinese, Japanese, there's like Indonesian, I believe, but they don't really speak that there. And then they got traditional Chinese. It's like the old Chinese. It's almost like Africa, they had their own language, so old and new language. In China,
Hmm.
well, they have, Mandarin. Chinese is
That's what I
the
mean.
modern. And then you got the old Chinese. And the old
So
Chinese
so
is, yeah, go ahead.
so you said Mandarin is the new Chinese?
Yes, the new Chinese right now. This is the new one. Like they got
Okay.
two different, you got the new language and you got the old version of the same language.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you know what's interesting? I mean, that's really interesting because I mean, I didn't know how much languages can change that much, but like even when I was in Tanzania this year, and we
Wow.
were, yeah, we were like going off of old definitions for what we thought Swahili was, and
Right.
like I give you this example, I thought my name Haki, and I've been telling people this all my life, like I changed
Wow.
my name, but it once upon a time it meant justice.
Right.
right? And somebody else like told me that it meant something totally different. So I'm like, wow, so I don't know
Wow.
what my name means.
Something that kind of makes your brain like
Right,
expand more. Like you want to know more about your own self just from the actual people that speak that language. And that's how
exactly.
it came to you know, when it comes to the Chinese language, your brain is rewired differently after you start to understand it more, and how they the history behind it kind of evolved to what it is today, because Chinese
Mm,
language is, in the characters, is basically um you know, like the water and the trees is basically is what they see. It's like photographic like characters from what we see in
mm-hmm,
daily life, and they took that and put it into characters form to understand each other. But especially the fact that it had took over time, it changed the style of it to what it is today. So like, for example, if you see the word like, you know, ni is you, and how, that's hello. And to you,
mm,
for us, we will think it's weird because it's you, hello, but to them, it's how are you, or hello to them.
mm,
So when the characters itself, like, you know, when they write, when you go see the Chinese characters, there's actually, they're actually ancient, like old characters that they used back then. But over
mm,
time, like before how it looked now, it changed to what it is today. And now when
mm,
you see people talk to each other, that's why they got the traditional Chinese, which is the old Chinese of how they used to speak. And then they got the new Chinese. That's like us talking in English. And then back then it was Shakespearean. For them, it's like that too. But they use a different way of speaking to each other. And then they took and then with Japanese, they took the ideology from Chinese and put it into their own language. And then the Japanese created their own language to speak to each other in an easier way. But the fact
mm,
that they had to take from Chinese, you know, the Chinese language to put it in theirs. That's how it is when it comes to our language. It's just theirs is a little different from ours. So when you learn about the language itself from Mandarin, it makes your brain expand to new different ways and think different ways of connecting, because
mhm,
you got people who are on like a whole nother level of thinking, not just here, but actually outside the norm around the world, who also as well speak that same language.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
it's very amazing when you start to get into history. That's what I'm saying. Like black, not a lot of black people will know about that because we're always taught the same thing in school and not
Mm-hmm,
into those certain areas, especially for the black youth. We don't hear about that enough, and we're only told the same repeating things, or we don't kind of connect with other races that know things about that we do about them.
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. Describe, since we're talking about this, so describe the relationship between the Chinese and the Japanese, knowing that that there was a history of like war, and now
Or
they have these disagreements that are going on, and their relationships between the United States. Can you describe for what you gather just from communications and experiences? Just where's that relationship been? Before and now, if you care to share
okay,
what you
so
know
their
about that.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's not really good. It's almost like us different, like white and black people over there. It's the same way, but they
Mm,
have a thing where even though they hate each other, they still connect each other on a certain level when it comes to business, when it comes to language,
right.
when it comes to like trade, and when it comes to us dealing with America
Mm,
and China. It's, you know, how, and over here for us, we know about what Chinese people think about us, but the fact that a lot of the
mm-hmm.
Chinese people and Japanese people study us because we're that powerful. But when it comes to our history, when it comes to our language, when it comes to our music, and it's like it's coming like they study. It's like mathematics. They break everything down to understand why we like this today and about our history and race. And for
Mm-hmm.
Chinese and Japanese culture, they have a thing where Japan don't like China, and China has a way where they're like a whole different norm in Japan, where Japan, they're more respectful to black people, but the Chinese people are more racist to black people because their
Mm,
ideology is taught from white supremacy. So they all think the same type of way, but they both hate each other, but they'll still work together at the end of the day against us. And they do it where they when it comes to our money and when it comes to our businesses. So it's good to have, Chinese language and Japanese language to understand it, so we know what they're doing, so we can get that type of knowledge from them and do what we kind of like, stay on code, basically.
Well, what was I getting ready to say about that? Well, there's a book, I didn't like totally read it, but it's called the Asian Century.
Right.
And, as I was in Tanzania and of course many parts of Africa, it's, there's pretty much like a type of colonialism going on where,
Right.
I'd say an invasion of sorts, where there's a large percentage of, Chinese people and East Indians, a lot of people. And, I'm very concerned about, the population there. And then we have Africa, population as well. So I know people are thinking about these issues, and, it's almost like Black people are here on some levels. As I was in Tanzania, one gentleman said to me that Black, I guess he was saying it like, you Black Americans, all y'all do is come here and talk. Why don't you build something like the Indians and Chinese or something? Or he was pointing out as we were driving, he was showing us different like swaths of land or development that they were doing. And I was like, well, understandably, let's just, objectively speaking, from a capitalization perspective, many Black people in the United States, although they may desire to do certain things, but the reality of wealth disparities in the world is that where individuals may not have this millions of dollars to, institutional to just invest, like on an equal playing field, of what the Chinese and the Indians, East Indians are doing.
Right. So it's like they're taught, and I know, and I learned, from what Tyreek is talking about, Tyreek Nasheed. I love his teachings, and he's break this down a lot, that a lot of African people from all parts of Africa is taught to not like Black Americans. And there's like a propaganda where they're told we don't work with us because they're told something different that's not true about us. We want to work with them, but they're told not to work with us. And when it comes to connections, they rather work with the Asian person and the white person before they work with us, because they're taught that we're doing all these type of practices and ideologies that's not true, when we just want to work them on that level of trying to connect and get things shipped over to where they're at. And on top of that, a lot of Asian people, Chinese people are taking over all the parts of Africa and doing business deals and kicking African people out of what they're from or what they're doing. But when it comes to us, they won't allow us to get and work with them, especially when it comes to like currency, or when it comes to farms, or just coming to deals just so we can get out of the mindset of what white people did to us when it came to them taking over their land. But because when it comes to us, they won't allow us to do none of those things with them, even if it came to just even the smallest thing. And I had this type of I had this type of treatment from a friend that I think was from Nigeria that did soccer. And every time I try to communicate him, even though we were both learning the same class and same language, he just didn't want to work with me. He actually put a Hispanic, an Indian person, and an Asian girl before he would put a Black African American who knows what it is of what you're trying to work to get out, because he was also a senior before he graduated. And it showed how they're taught against us, where I couldn't even communicate with them. It was more like, well, I'm gonna only talk to my own people or talk to other races. That was it. That's how they are in in so like Jamaica, Nigeria, and all these places, and you can't even say nothing to them because they get act very petty and really rude to us, so we can't communicate with them.
Wow, that's really interesting. That's really interesting.
It's very deep. And then
And
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, go. You want to
Oh,
add on?
it's very deep to the fact that when the in China, they would kick African or any type of person out of their own homes after they built the Asian community, built it, Chinese people, and then be rude. But to us, we wouldn't do those things to them, even though we will try to find ways to give them something back in return, but they don't want to work with us, even if we try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And those
Yeah,
are,
no.
this is a term for coons.
Say again.
Coons. These are coons. These are the ones that listen to the white men before they listen to the black people from where we are, from our ancestors.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting, and as there are different types, and this is where I'm able to. It's really fascinating because sometimes I've gone to some continental African events, more so out of curiosity, just to observe, just in terms of, just trying to put myself in a position to say, look, okay. I mean, because honestly, from a global business perspective and both a global survival perspective,
right.
Ultimately, for the future and thinking, global business and, total survival, I'm just seeing that we have to keep, global options open, like other ethnic groups that go to Africa, for instance, and
right.
and they do it and they invest and they do things, and we would hope certainly that we would have, if not a competitive advantage. Right. And I see we have someone else chiming in. If you don't mind, we can just get somebody else and they can listen in as well. So thank you. So, but ultimately, we're going to have to really be prepared, I believe, and know that we're going to have to build power. And honestly, one thing I look at is, for instance, a lot of Black people here, even, in the United States, and I just been studying this, and you see the battles, I mean, you've been in the conscious community, and you've seen how people actually are at each other's throats and cussing people out on YouTube. And my thing is, I mean, if other people see people on YouTube,
right,
like calling each other out, calling people out of their names, and all these little splinter groups, it's just like, why would anybody want to think that they're going to just unify collectively, with everybody? You see, so my idea, and this is why I'm very careful in terms of how I frame the conversation, because again, like most people, they're not as conscious.
They're on that
about
level. And a lot of our young generation are taught that at a very young age. So when they get older and they get told about our own history, it's hard for them to understand because of the teachings and the people that they looked up to. Instead, they're kind of brainwashed of what society is today, especially with Black youth, especially. And I noticed that when, the new platform with TikTok, it's like that. A lot of our history and a lot of debates dealing with our own history and races, it's caused a very problem when it comes to the conscious community on there, because it shows what people, how they you know, a lot of the races shows what they think about us, but also we're also making ourselves look bad when we're always going back and forth debating. It's no positivity. This is one reason why I have my channel as Yaki Sakura Speaks, because I talk about motivation, how to help the Black youth, and this is a B1 channel. And also from teachers from Tariq Nasheed, it's also Tariq Nasheed, the Black Authority, and pro-Black truth. I learned from all these type of ways of how to like understand myself, how to teach other people on how to be a positive person, but also teach how we all should work together, not just be always separate from each other when it comes to Black Black teenagers, Black young people, and other people who see us as well as the same way. And it's not enough of us out there.
All right. So I heard you mention Tariq and Jason Black and Professor Black Truth. Now, let me ask you. So we said the conscious community, past, present, and future. So what about Dr. Umar Johnson?
Well, when it comes to him, I look to some of his ideology speak too. I know, understand, like, you got a lot of people, but when I seen that, I stay out of drama.
When you saw what? When
it comes to Umar Johnson, I stay out of that, drama back and forth when it came to the conscious community with that, because I'm more on the positive level. I just wanted to stay where it comes to the norm for helping other people and understand my own self to help others to understand my mind state.
Right.
Right.
No, I get it. And, you know, it's like, and I give you this example. I mean, you know, I was close to Umar like years ago.
Right.
And I mean, before he was Papa and other things, but he was just like, that's Brother Umar, you know, I mean, at one time. So, but one thing I learned, and this is what I mean by when I see these, you know, these splinter groups, and, you know, you see different people that are popping up to sort of, you know, actually exploit that, you know, like try to take advantage of these splits to get followers or whatever, you know, just kind of self-aggrandizing, you know, and it's like more so an ego thing that stops the learning. You know, what we really need to be focused on, the growth of our community.
Right.
That's a challenge. But let me just say hello to Sister Shanae and welcome her. And, you know, I don't know where she's coming in from, but let's welcome her. And, you know, we have people from all over the world that, you know, kind of connected to some of my Zoom. So I'll just say hello to her if she want to unmute and, you know, say a few words and ask a few questions or however, you know. And, did I say Shanae? Shantae.
Shantae.
Hey, Shantae, how you doing?
Hi. Yes, I just saw this pop up in the group.
Thank you.
And
hi.
So welcome. I said, let me see what's going on. So
let me just share. So this is young Zeta Seeger. She's 21 years old. She's are you in the doctoral? I mean, not a doctoral, but I'm just giving you a promotion. But so
I'll take it. I'm working Chinese. On one.
Oh, you are really? Okay. So are you in the you in the Netherlands?
No, I'm in the US, but I'm getting ready to move to Tanzania. I just left Tanzania, my husband and I, in January.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I was in the I think it's Black Exodus group, and I saw the in there.
Oh, well, add to this conversation, because this young lady, she been to China, and so she speaks like Chinese and Japanese. And so, you know, and I just, you know, was sharing with her, you know, just some experiences that I've seen going to Tanzania, and we'll be back there towards the June and October as well. So will you be there then, or for sure?
Yes, we're moving there June 28th.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as my contract is up here, because I'm a teacher, so I can't break contract. But as soon as it's up, we are out of here.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Okay. That's phenomenal. So yeah, we definitely looking forward to connecting with you. And I see we have Teaching Artists Institute. I don't know who we have, if that's Kim or is that Angela, but we'll see. Or one of them or somebody else maybe chiming in from the Netherlands or something. So, but yeah, thank you, Sister Shantae, and we definitely want to connect with you, and you can, chime in, ask a question, or somebody posted in the chat. Oh, you can, ask a question or make a comment if whatever you feel. But I wanted to, get a young lady some time to share her story and what she has going on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Great, great, great. So, as I was mentioning, I'm glad she did chime in with that. That's Kim. Okay, all right, Kim. Yeah, you can chime in if you have anything to add to this conversation. But so I wanted to, like just, you want to speak, Kim? Okay, well, if you don't want to speak, it's okay. I saw you press unmute, but it's okay. I don't hear you. So, but we are live on the YouTube page, Yaki Sakura YouTube page.
No,
And,
I'm good. It's about 1:30 a.m., but I wanted to just tune in and listen.
huh? You just want to listen?
Yes, it's about 1:30 a.m. We're in
Okay. Okay.
Gambia. So
So,
I just wanted to
no, thank you.
check you
Thank you.
guys out.
So,
Thank you all for being here.
okay. So
Awesome.
Kim she's actually in the Gambia, but she's here. And I mean, she lives in the
Right.
Maryland area. And so and she's the one, Shantae, she's coordinating the trip to Tanzania and South Africa as well this year. So Kim, I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
Yeah, so we'll definitely inbox me on WhatsApp to let me know who you are as well. So just so we can stay in touch with you if I don't already
I
have
would
it.
definitely love to stay in touch as well. I would love to.
Yes, certainly we definitely can make that happen. So in terms of just being what we have for once upon a time called the conscious community, how would you describe that now?
How I describe it now when it comes to them.
Yeah, I just say, because let me just share this. Once upon a time when we I'd say probably 10, 15 years ago, because there used to be like a lecture series, like people would do like a lot of community lectures. They were called community, and I mean where dozens or hundreds of people would actually come out to listen to a speaker. Mostly, once upon a time, it was like a lot of college professors, and now it's just turned into everybody, that
Right.
desire to,
Because YouTube is like
kind
the
of.
new thing right now.
Yeah, right. And what has happened is YouTube has made everybody feel that they are scholars of sorts, without putting in the real tangible work of reading,
Right.
reading and sitting down under like intelligent teachers, like master teachers. I mean, this is how, there used to be some protocols, about who people are going to have up in front of them. And once upon a time, they used to be, even within our community, the elders, like you have to get some sort of clearance, if you will, so you got to put in some time here. But now it's like people can sort of go in and shoot their little messages, and they can be like repeating something that they heard. And that's what I think a lot of people, they just are good parrots of other people's information. They sit and watch a bunch of YouTube videos, and all they do is just repeat a lot of things that they heard.
Right.
You see
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
for
And that's one of the things that I discovered, because I was just like, I know that these people aren't studying like that. You know, and it came out like rather recently in some people's cases that they they just claim that they don't read nothing. Like they don't read. They look at, and not to say that you can't learn from that, but if that's like your only source of conversation, like you don't have no life experience, or you haven't studied from some elder, or you're not bouncing none of your knowledge. It's even scholars, what they do, they have what's called peer review of your work. If you print like a book or something, it's like it's peer reviewed before it can get published. But right now, it's like people are saying any and everything, but there's no rhyme or reason to what there's no real scholarly debate on the certain topics as well. So that's can be a challenge, and that's why I have to sort of shut my mind.
Got different ideologies.
Yeah.
And when it comes to my group, it's like I'm learning from different perspectives. See, it's good to learn from different perspectives, but then again, you want to know where you actually getting the information from, because some of them can start fighting with each other. For me, I'm just more like taking the history knowledge and learning about the positivity in our history and how we're getting divided by white supremacy. So I'm on that level where I'm just not worried about, I'm stay out the drama, but stay in the positive and make people feel good about themselves. Because when you talk about negative things all day, your mind is going to be only told about what the other person thinking, but not about how to be a better oneself, how to invest, how to create your own thing, how to make your own YouTube channel, and how to bring a brand to your channel. So it's more for me to take all the good knowledge and the teachings from all these great teachers that I learned from than just from one person, because everyone has something that they learned and taught from. It's just in their own way of how they went through it. But then again, it's good to read in your own way of level of thinking, because then you know what you learned from your own.
Okay, did you break? I hear you. I still hear you. Okay.
That's probably a connection.
Oh, okay. All right, it's all good. I still hear you, but yeah. No, I appreciate that those inputs there. So,
Well, Haki, discipline.
say again? Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
You sound a little muffled, but go for it.
Haki, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry in advance if I forgot, but I wanted to weigh in on the topic. I think that it's important that in this era of the new expert, where everyone has their own YouTube channel and everybody has something to say, and because of social media, they're given a microphone and platform to do it. I think it's important to look for best practices, look for people that are doing the work, not just theorists, not people that want to talk about what they think and what they like and what they know, but people that are coming to the forefront to shed light on what they're doing, how it's being done, things that are working, things that are not, and telling us how they're refining their process, their action plan. For me at this point, the new conscious community without an action plan is irrelevant. And so I'm always looking to connect with doers.
I'll share. Okay. So talk a little bit.
I didn't break up.
Who's that speaking?
Gambia is crazy.
It's the Teaching
Who's that
Arts
speaking?
Institute, her connection.
Yeah, she's in the Gambia. So yeah, you were breaking, Kim.
I heard what she said on that part. That was very good.
Okay, yeah, I heard that part. Then you were starting to break there, but so some of the things that you talk about on your channel. So what are some of the things you've been discussing? I see you got a lot of good interviews on there. So what are some of the topics that you deal with?
On my channel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Motivation. When it comes to, how to deal with oneself. I also do, what else? I don't know, you've seen that one interview, what I did, where it was coming to community when it comes to like narcissistic abuse, or like how to stay away from negative people and not allow them to ruin your life or your plans or your goals. And you're allowing people to take over what you know, when you should define your oneself by connecting with other positive people, especially when it comes to the generation where I'm at now, because we're always taught to fight each other and not help one another now. And I noticed there's a lot of petty things dealing with when it comes to Black people in general. And we never give positive insight or how to take the time to, create our own stuff and put action to it. We're always talking about it. So it's a lot of things dealing with that. It's a very big topic, but it's because we always in that same ideology of hating each other or putting each other down. And we don't have enough, especially females my age that's like me, that does that enough. We only probably got a small percentage. And when it comes to that, especially when I was going throughout high school, I kind of channeled the factor, instead of taking the negative energy and putting it out as a bad energy to other people, I took that and turned it to, you know what, I'm going to find myself well-being of being a positive person, but especially helping other people so they don't have to go through what I had to go through, or how to avoid people and make their own way of channeling the hate that people put on to make them feel bad about themselves. And especially on YouTube, it's like that all the time. I see a lot of young girls that do this all day. They don't have nothing else to do, but probably like arguing with each other. And then other white people or other races make fun of us, saying, why does always Black young girls or Black women fight in general? And we shouldn't put each other against each other. And then other people see that as like a joke or like a fun show to them. So we don't got enough of that. And that's one reason why I made my channel where I'm at today, especially meeting and crossing from like going to China and traveling around the world.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. So what observations that you have going on right now, or your next goal that you are tackling?
Having my own brand businesses, t-shirts, hair, dealing with locks, and not just locks, but how to take care of your hair in general. When it comes to, eventually I'm having my language. And then my other channel is dealing with like gaming for Black gamer people, because we don't get enough of that as well. Right.
Speak on that. Because there was a discussion about the pros and cons, for instance, of gaming. Like, some people were saying not to do it, or but and then somebody else was saying it can be developmental. You see what I'm saying? So what would you say?
For gaming, for especially when it comes to Black gaming people in general, I mean, the pros is you especially as a female, you're gonna have a lot of people to come to, because there's not enough gamer Black girls out there that do stuff like that. You're gonna have more guys, obviously, but because it's good to have a gaming channel, but give positive vibes out instead of like being negative, because it's not, a lot of people don't like when someone's negative all day talking about things while you're gaming. And it's good to get that, because it gives people a good attention span to focus on what to do to make them feel each other good about themselves. And I know when it comes to the cons, you're going to have a lot of racist people try to attack you because you're doing something that other not people are doing. So they're going to find ways to bring a lot of bad negative clout to your channel, especially when it comes to streaming and reaching out to other people that's on that same level. And it's good to have a positive group of Black gamers than a negative group of Black gamers, because then we're going to be taught to only hate on each other because we're doing better than the other person. And it's not about that. It's about uplifting each other and connecting on different levels to get other people that just think just like us on that conscious level. You still do gaming, but you're still conscious of what you're doing, but you give a positive vibe back to other people, so they'll think, wow, this is what I want to do. Unless then talking about, because a lot of girls do makeup and all this type of stuff, but you want to have different type of genres and just one thing, because we're always taught that, like especially in school, just do one thing when we get older and while we're growing up. And it's not about, you don't want to be in one area. You want to be out there more than just one thing, because then we're not achieving or challenging ourselves on a new level thinking.
Right, right. Now, also, is there, like, in terms of the creation of these games, would you say that coding is, can be a part of that as well to create some of these games? Or the software development with that. So, it's just something that perhaps we, can teach some young people.
Right. Coding is especially a part of that, because you can create your own games instead of playing what white people made first. We can create our own stuff dealing with IT and cybersecurity. And that's another goal of what I'm also well as doing as well.
What's that, cybersecurity?
Yeah, cybersecurity
Right.
and IT, learning how to code, how to understand a computer and make your own video games as well, because it's all playing a part of technology in general. And the new thing is technology as well.
Absolutely. No. I've been, in some of the clubhouse rooms. I've certainly been listening in on the discussions about, artificial intelligence and augmented realities, and how these are some advanced tools of learning that eventually I honestly think, even with the school systems, and this whole, I'm not going to talk about COVID, but it's like, just keeping the students out of the schools. It's like, I think that somewhere along the line, there's a major push in terms of to decentralize education, to get people to begin other forms of education. And this is why actually I was supposed to, sometime I was going to try to do it tonight. There's a young lady that's teaching homeschooling, just as an alternative in teaching people how to use these technologies that we do actually have,
right?
And even supplement with the teachers, but understanding that this may become a common reality. Yeah, right. As an excuse, actually, on some levels to not educate, to poor Black children on some levels, right? So, and this is where I believe, people that's talking about building schools and things need to really start to know that schools may not be a particular demographic location like that. I mean, it'd be nice to have that, but you got to think about the bare necessities of what people actually have, because then you got to start talking about feeding people, and that's that's another conversation that needs to happen when you're talking about developing a community. So and financing some of these operations, it's going to take a level of networking and positioning yourself and making money, learning how to create cash flows, so
right. And I
business.
And I met a lot of dealing with people with cybersecurity and video games, or they're on that level of trying to get out there. Like I said, the Chinese and different languages is a very good part of doing technology, because you can communicate with other people that's also on that same level that do video games. Like, some reason it's good to connect with other, even though we want to build stuff in our own community, but it's good to like reach out and communicate and be not an introvert, be an extrovert, and understand each other, so we get better knowledge in just one area. Because when you're stuck in that one area, when it comes to dealing with technology and cybersecurity, and when it comes to video games and building your own video games, then you know what you're doing when you get more knowledge and not just stuck in one area in a box. And then you need people that's on the same level thinking as you, not when, because you're going to have people, like the challenging thing, you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to like you just because you want to communicate. You want to communicate with people who are on the same level. So that's when the social media takes a part of it, and IT in general. And especially with the gaming community, there's a lot of gamers that also dealing with a lot of coding and putting pieces and parts together, that also takes a part of themselves as well, especially with the with Black people.
Wow, I'll tell you. So, I mean,
and you could also get your drone license because of video games.
Say that again.
You could also get your drone license because of video games and coding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. That's great. No, I agree. And I listened to Jason Black. He did a discussion. It was the one on IT. Did you see that?
I've seen that. Yep. I definitely seen that.
Yeah. So I didn't hear the whole thing, but I sent it to someone that's more in the IT field, but I listened to a good part of it, and it made a lot of sense what I heard thus far. But I'm pleased that I was able to share it because just knowing, for instance, I didn't matriculate directly into some of these fields, but I always say it's never too late to learn anything. Right. I mean, I took
at a very young age, though. Very good.
Again?
At a young age. It's very good to
Yes.
at a young age because you grow into it.
Absolutely. No. And I give you this example. I started off, I think I was like 24, 25, and I started to do the computer repair training. I don't know. I just started doing some other stuff. But, I just think about, although I didn't complete it, but it's still some of the things I still like remember, and I feel like it wasn't hard really. It was just my youthfulness and being distracted. So now that I look back at it, like right now, and I have a whole different business mentality around it, and I know I don't need to be like totally hands-on with it, but I just have to know enough to direct somebody else, and I can come back with, my money and, do other things with it. But I know how essential it actually was. And
Right.
now I see that as the bigger picture. So, but yeah, so you're basically, you're throwing yourself into, being like using social media, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, to expand your brand and your network. I mean, let me tell you, because I've been, on, some of these different clubhouse rooms. So are you on Twitch?
Yes, I'm on Twitch.
Oh,
Twitch.
okay.
I'm on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok.
Okay. All right. I heard people talking about Twitch. I I don't think I have it. And I'm not even on TikTok, but I do hear a significant amount of people like talking about it, and I guess it depends on, like who you need to reach and where you need to reach. I do recognize that. I do have an Instagram, so I'm not like, I do recognize the value of Instagram. So, matter of fact, I just went live earlier. So, I feel that, I hit different audiences at the right time. And, and one thing I learned, so there's been these discussions, like there was one discussion that a gentleman said that they try to get somebody that had 2 million followers, for instance, on Instagram, to sell like 40 shirts for some company, some brand.
Right.
And and the person couldn't even sell like the 40 shirts. She sold like 35 of them. And they got somebody else that had like 5,000 followers, and she like almost doubled that amount. So the one thing I learned, from that, and that's been repeated several times. It's not directly a total number, like, and I guess it depends on, I mean, having big numbers obviously always, can be a good thing, but, I always had a visualized understanding that, just having a certain amount of people to get some things done, people that have some intelligence and some brilliance about themselves, and that's willing to work and willing to learn, And this is where I believe, ultimately cultivating other influencers, and working with other people that, want to grow themselves and grow their business, grow their operations. That's kind of a wise way to get things done instead of them just being a follower. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, just, a click and a like and a smile, like, what is that? So just talk about, just in terms of real brief, and we can begin to wrap up. I know I said we're going to keep you for an hour. So I appreciate the others chiming in and make it more interesting to have a few other people chiming in, and hopefully both of these sisters, will be in touch with you, and, you can, both of them are sharp. I only attract sharp people. So,
Uh-huh.
so I only got good people around me. So talk, a little bit about that, and, we can begin to wrap down in a couple.
Okay. So you want to talk about the part with dealing with like different, I mean, like Twitter?
Yeah. How do you work your, I mean, like, which one, let's say, which one of those do you feel is your audience? Let's just give that example.
Which one's my audience? Instagram?
Yeah, the direct audience. I mean, which one you use the most?
So TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram is like the
Okay.
ones I use most, because a lot of people, that's like the main thing that's going on right now, especially my generation. A lot of people use TikTok to bring people from over there to bring it to their Instagram.
Right.
And then it's good to work on your Instagram, but it's good to build up your YouTube, because then people from YouTube can go across your Instagram and see who you are in general. It's like your portfolio. But TikTok is more like your acting and showing relatable content and things that you do in general, from art, from video games, from computer science, from all different types of dramas from around the world. And when you do things like that from TikTok, it's like it blows up more faster, because you can bring your Instagram and you can bring your any other social media use and put it on your profile on your channel, so people could just click to it. It's like a little trick. And it's good to kind of like, when you want to talk about things, you use that type of like, make it fun, because people attention span like fun stuff and funny things. And because the clips are small, like example, the things you're doing right now, if you can record and do TikTok videos and talk about little like things that you like, which you love, people will come to you because it's your own unique content. It's not what everyone else is doing. That's what I'm doing. And especially I do things that I love, like art, video games, talk about how I did this and have fun. And also it's good to do some trends, because you can get more people to come to your algorithm, especially do the ones that's positive, not the crazy ones, the ones that I be seeing all over the social media, but it's the ones that blows up the most, that gives a good feedback and positive content. Because then people will go to your Instagram and say, man, I really love this person, because I like what they're putting into their content. They're not just doing this, they like this thing too. Some people can just relate. When you relate to people more, like what you think or what you love doing, people will just gravitate towards you, because you give a good outlook. And then you start getting brand deals and ads, and then it will start going to other stuff. And Instagram is a really good platform to put TikTok videos on, because I know that people just look at them all day. And I've seen people in comment sections telling me, oh, man, I love this, because it keeps my mind in this state of just going through videos all day. That's what they do. It's crazy. And the views will go up. So if you want people to support your, like, let's say brands like shirts, you could post that on TikTok, and then people start talking about, wow, I love this. Because sometimes it's hard, because especially for Black creatives, when it comes to our algorithm, it's played around too much with us. So it's hard for it to get out there. So we have to kind of like do things that bring the attention span in, so then people can reach to us even more. And when it comes to like, like book deals or brand deals, you can put that on there, especially like this book right here.
Thank you. Indeed. No, it's really, I'm pleased that you did that, because I was on Clubhouse like this morning. Yeah, it may have been this morning, and I missed the interview that Les Brown did, and he was like an expert on one of these major rooms. And what I did was I went and I started inboxing like all these top superstar people that was on there. And
Wow.
I mean, most of the time they not paying you no attention. I mean, like, I ain't gonna say that, but like people that's like that they don't know, that they haven't been. I mean, I've been on there for like a month right now. I mean, I did a few clubs or whatever they call rooms or whatever, but I'm seeing that that's going to be a powerful tool for like, learning, just direct learning.
Right.
And so I still, although I mean, I had an iPhone and I heard people talking about it, but I was just like, I felt like overwhelmed. I was just like, do I need another one? Do I need another social media? Like,
yeah. I know for the old generation, it's gonna be like, why you got new things out there? Every time we move to this platform, we got to catch up to that one.
Yeah, but and that's the beauty of this one. I feel that everything kind of comes full circle. Like, I did radio before, so I feel like this is just like radio pretty much, but you have a lot of people. That's all it is. It's like radio and speakers and business like type of things all around and mixed in together.
But just on your phone.
Right. So and I'm just like, ultimately, again, as I said, it's about who you're creating relationships with, and of course, who know you. So now it's like those, I mean, I couldn't even like send them to everybody, but I was just like, all right, these people, they now know me. So, down the road, when, I continue to get bigger, they'll remember me. So I'm just like, regardless of, because, and that's what I saw. I saw some of them, they got like 50,000 followers and, a bunch of followers. But then you go to Instagram, it's just like, they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, it's so using other platforms, and then they're putting into what they're applying it to. So when people say, hey, follow me on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, they're like, let's say TikTok, for example, it's like it grows faster on there than Instagram do. So when you put TikTok, people will like, oh wow, I want to know more about you. They want to communicate on that personal level, like want to talk to the creator. So you bring them to Instagram. That's when that Instagram links and all these social medias come in, like the same app you were talking about. What was it called again?
Where? Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, yeah. People use also Clubhouse is a new thing now, where it's more like, instead of people using their face, they're just talking. Everyone who wants to talk about something, they can just talk about it in those different types of groups, from investments, from businesses, from language, from TikTok, how to grow your TikTok, how to grow your Instagram. So then when you get those people on there, they'll go to other platforms, and it's good to talk on that type of level because people can understand each other on there too. So it's like not just one, but it's more around, and it moves around a lot because of this generation. Yeah, that's why I said technology is the new thing, because everyone's inside all day. So they have to find some type of creativity to get something out there. And I've seen people around the world do it a lot, but they'll give you some good game on understanding how they grow their social media, because not a lot of people, like, that's another thing. A lot of people look for that as well, trying to get their brand out there. So they'll use that as a way of getting their, deals out there and advertisements and all this type of stuff. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about what I've learned and the people that I've met there. So, I'm trying to manage my time in terms of, where I, do these broadcasts and, just what kind of content I'm getting out there. And, but also it's like, like, I give you this example. One guy said, somebody said something about, for content creators, spend some time, creating content versus consuming it. Now, that sounds good, but I'm just like, the reality is that sometimes you got to learn, when some people are talking, you need to be listening. You know what I'm saying? And that's my thing right now. I'm never too good or or to not feeling myself so much that that I'm not humble enough to know that I need to be listening to certain people, and that's, and I see that because, I mean, although some people might feel like they got it, but I'm like, it's always somebody else out there that's doing it bigger and better than you are. And if you're not, wise enough to
Right.
know when you need to just say, all right, let me just take notes,
Take notes is good.
yeah, right. And know when it's your time, it's going to be your time.
Right.
And that's where, and that's why I'm feeling like I'm gonna get ahead of the curve on some of these things, because I know that, I'm taking my time to listen and learn, and eventually, it will, pay off. So I'm excited about all those opportunities. But just, put out some of your social medias, because we did record this on our YouTube, but I also recorded it in the cloud as well. So we can, so when I send you this audio Zoom, the video Zoom, you can do whatever you want with it as well.
Okay. So for my Instagram, it's Sakura underscore Yuki 32. So it's SKURA underscore Yuki YUKI 32. My TikTok is Sakura God. See, I use Sakura as this from my name brand, so people easily find me. That's another. They always have the same name for everything. So for that, it's Sakura SAKURA, spelled the same way. Dot Sakura. Sakura dot God. My apologies. You got that?
Okay, it's okay.
And then my YouTube channel is Yaki Sakura Speaks. It's YUKI Sakura SAKURA Speaks SPEAKS. Yeah, they're spelled the same way, but just written a certain way. Like, yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So thank you. And so Kim is the head of the. She just put it in the. Was that you put it in the.
I put it in there as well.
Yeah, I'll find you on there. But Kim is the head of the Teaching Artists Institute as well. So so they got a lot of artists in their group as well. So
amazing. I'm definitely glad to connect with you guys as well.
Yeah. So we thank you. Let me put this in my Instagram before let's see.
Yeah, same here.
All right, I see you 32. Okay. All right, gotcha. I'm already following you. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. All right. So yeah, on your Instagram. So all right. Well, thank you, and thanks, brother Ace, and appreciate that. So we are good. We had a good hour and 15-minute discussion. Thanks, Kim and Sister Shantae. Oh, and we'll follow you. Kim Pool Music on Instagram. KIMPOOLE Music on Instagram. And we'll reach out for Shantae.
Definitely love to connect. Love doing all that stuff.
So
yeah.
So Kim is in the Gambia, so she couldn't talk like this loud and technical difficulties. So let me make sure I follow her. So all right, I see it. Oh man. All right. Okay. All right, great. So I just follow her page as well. So all right. Well, thank you. And we shall be in touch, and you enjoy the rest of the evening. I'm gonna stop this recording and I'll get this to you soon, okay? All right, everybody. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. Teaching Artists Institute page. Thank you, Shantae.
All right. Thank you for having me. Good night.
Thanks a lot. We'll catch up with you, sis. Peace and blessings. Stop this recording. I'm going to stop cloud recording first. And then, okay, yeah, stop that first. And then we're out. See you later.